Shalom, today's June 16th and we're in day 619 of the war in Israel. The newspaper is about Tehran, the capital of Iran. Tehran bo'eret. Tehran is on fire. In the image we see the city of Tehran on fire from being bombed by the IDF. The subheadline, Mivtza, Am Kelavi. Mivtza is operation. Am Kelavi meaning the people as a line. That's the name of this Israeli operation in Iran. The emergency situation in the home front will be lengthened or continued until June 30th. That is much longer than what the home front in Israel was hoping and expecting, because we are living in an emergency situation. We're not living a normal life these days. Down here, there's a picture of one of the hard-hit buildings in the city of Bat Yam, south of Tel Aviv. We'll read more about it inside. Oref Tachat Mitkafa, the home front under an attack. Here on the right, we read about Noam Shemesh that fell in the battles of Khan Yunis in Gaza yesterday from an anti-tank missile that hit him. Down here is Aviv Atzili, who was kidnapped and murdered on October 7th. He was one of the emergency squads of Nir Oz. He was a pillar of Nir Oz, and he was returned last week. And it is news for us that it is Aviv Atzili that was returned. May their memory be blessed, and remembering that Gaza is still a front, as well as Judea and Samaria, Yemen, and also right now Iran. The next headline, Masaot Tzayid, hunting operations in the skies of Tehran. Milchama im Iran, a war with Iran. The massive attacks of the Israeli Air Force and the involvement of the United States of America behind the scenes, me'achorei haklaim, meaning behind the scenes. Hazroa ha'aruka, the long arm of the Defense Ministry, of the Defense Department of Israel, and the last day in Iran. The head of the intelligence of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard was assassinated together with his deputy. And also launchers, large missile launchers were demolished in Iran. These are very large ones on huge trucks that are ready to launch missiles towards Israel. They were attacked as well. Also, the Defense Ministry of Iran was attacked. And here it reads about Ha'pe'ula ha'rechoka beyoter, the operation that was the furthest from Israel, 2,300 kilometers from Israel. Israel attacked a refueling Iranian airplane. And it reads here that thousands of kilometers away from Israel, in the place where the architects of the nuclear program are sitting, this is where the IDF arrived, and the Air Force completed more significant steps to become superior, to have control over the skies of Iran, and they've managed. The IDF now has control over the skies of Iran. This article is about these achievements that the IDF is doing in Tehran and in Iran. A question here is asked with Avi Saskharov. He's giving an opinion. He's saying, how far will Trump go? And he hopes that the Israeli Defense Forces, together with the government, took into account before we attacked Iran that Trump will not be involved. We do not yet. If the United States will help us also in attack or just in defense as they're doing right now. Another interesting quote here from the Defense Forces of Israel. It reads here, Ha'atkafa hi hagana hazola beyoter. The attack is the cheapest defense, because a series of bombs of a quarter of a ton that's demolishing right now a ballistic missile launcher that's threatening to be launched over Tel Aviv, that's much cheaper than what a Arrow 3 defense missile costs. Arrow 3 are the missiles that intercept the Iranian ballistic missiles. So they're saying that the attack is much cheaper than defense. Next, Heres mikol ever, destruction from everywhere. Milchama im Iran, a war with Iran. Hamechirim hakvedim ba'oref, the heavy prices in the home front. 10 civilians were killed in 2 different places from a direct ballistic hit from Iran. There are different places that were hit. This article is about those places. One of them is in the south, and it reads here that the mamad is the safe room that any apartment should have. Not every apartment has this, but right now the modern homes, one of the requirements is to have a safe room. That's called a mamad, and that saved the life. So while there's destruction all over, those who were in the mamad, in the safe room, were sheltered and safe. Haifa, the big city in the north of Israel, they got a direct hit, and some people were killed there. Bat Yam, just south of Tel Aviv, near the Mediterranean Sea. In a minute, we'll see the building that was hit. Many died there. The destruction was from all over, and hundreds of meters away from the direct hit you could see the destruction of just the blast, where doors were out, windows were shattered, walls were peeled off from the outside, and as you got closer to the direct hit, the big destruction was shown and just collapsed on people. So many people died. Nezakim b'machon Weizmann, meaning damages, and the Weizmann Institute, that is a scientific institute. And I'm wondering if that was on purpose, because we got their scientists. Were they trying to get our scientists? Were they so accurate? I don't know. That is in Rehovot. We see the destruction of the labs. I would like to quote the father, Raja Khatib, that lost in one moment his wife, Manar, 45 years old, and his daughter is a 13-year-old and a 20-year-old. And he said, I lost the flowers of my life. I lost a wonderful woman that was everything for me. Everything was destroyed in seconds. He is a lawyer by profession, and he says his wife worked as a wonderful teacher, and she raised our children in the best way. And his sister-in-law also died. So 4 women in one family died in an Arab-Israeli village in the north. Milchama עם Iran, again, the war with Iran. הממשלה האריכה את הנחיות החירום עד 30 ביוני. The Israeli government lengthened the emergency situation guidelines or instructions to the home front until June 30th. This is how you will protect yourselves in the best way. This article is all about saving lives. And always there is a tension between going back to the routine of life or saving lives, right? You have to have that balance. You can't just stay in the safe room all day long. You do have to have some sort of routine, if it's a little bit of work, a little bit of studies, but also to be close to these safe rooms to save your life. And over again, they're saying safe rooms save your life, unless there's a direct hit on the safe room. But if there's a hit near the safe room will actually keep you safe from the huge blast and shattering. כמה התראות מספק פיקוד העורף? This article is about how many alerts does the Home Front Command give us before we need to be in the safe room. Actually, there are 3. One of them is 15 minutes before, telling you, get ready, missiles are on the way, stay close to the home front. Another one is telling you, okay, get even closer, they're closer. And then when the alarm happens, a large sounding siren happens for a minute and a half. You need to be in that safe room with the door shut, the windows shut. All these are specific ones for safe rooms within a minute and a half, because when that alarm or siren ends, that's when the ballistic missiles hit. And if you're lucky, you're hearing the interceptions up in the sky. You're not hearing humongous booms, meaning it hit your surrounding area. You're just hearing interceptions in the sky. Gorem hanezek haikari, the major cause of danger is the blast. That is hasakana hagdola be'emet. The true danger, the real true danger, it says, is the blast. It's not the direct hit, because the chances that it hits you directly are low. But even if it doesn't hit you directly, the blast is so humongous, that's the real danger. And people die just from the blast. And they're teaching here how to be protected from the blast. And again, it's to be in that safe room or in the shelter that's meant for these attacks, with the door completely shut. Whoever had the door a little bit open, they were not safe. The blast goes straight through and gets you. They say take everything off the shelves. If you have any closets in the safe room, make sure they are securely attached to the walls. No glass in the bedroom. in the shelter room. So children have been sleeping in shelters just to have the children sleep as much as possible. And that's in the good situation that your shelter is large enough that can hold some mattresses for your children. Next, right in the middle of the newspaper is this huge image and it's reading Chazit Ha'oref, the front of the home command. Here's the pictures of the inconceivable damage in the city. We see a residential building of 13 floors. They're all completely destroyed. By the way, here in the image is the building that was filmed by Google Maps before the destruction. It was on the map. There it is in complete form, and here it's completely blown away. I cannot even imagine being in one of those floors when the missile hits. And if you look closely around the building, you can see windows shattered and blinds broken. There's a gas station right next to it, to the building. It did not hit that. Praise God, that would have caused a big fire. You see a roof here demolished as well. And all of this is not even close to the direct hit. It's only from the blast. In the image, we also see the first responders that come and are helping look and find for the missing that are trapped under the rubble. Next, Milchama im Iran, war with Iran. The IDF has increased their forces in the Judea and Samaria area by 1.5 in the last 2 days. And that is, it says here, Hamatara, the goal is to make sure that Judea and Samaria stays a minor front and that it will not escalate to a full front, that the Arabs there will not use this opportunity to come against Israel in full blast. Specifically, the IDF is speaking to the released prisoners in different hostage release deals where we released many prisoners. They're speaking to them and saying, watch it, you better not cause any escalation of some kind. That is in Judea and Samaria. And last, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is a play on words in Hebrew, as Canyon is a parking lot, Canyon is a mall. So instead of saying Grand Canyon, Grand Canyon. So it's a large parking lot, and this is to babysit the children of the medical personnel in different medical centers. Over 200 children came to this underground parking lot, and they were babysat with different activities. These are the ages of between 3 and 12 because there's no more school right now. There's no more daycare in any way. So while the medical personnel is busy, they found a way to take care of their children in a corporate way in a underground parking lot to keep them safe in a case of a siren. That is it for today. Please continue to remember Israel in prayers, and for the ones who are injured, for the families who've lost their loved ones, for the hostages still in Gaza to come home. Thank you for standing with Israel in these hard times. I'm Rotem Magen, broadcasting from the hills near Jerusalem.